Hey, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. I'm Brian Manning. I'm a political asylum lawyer, and that's the name of my law firm, Political Asylum Lawyers. And I want to answer your questions about getting asylum in the United States. I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, my law firm helps immigrants all over the country, all over, doesn't matter where you live, all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. That's all we do. All we do is asylum. Notice that most immigration lawyers call themselves immigration lawyers. I call myself an asylum lawyer. My law firm is an asylum law firm. That's what we do all day, every day. That's our focus. It's our passion. Let me know in the comments, first and foremost, where you're watching from. Say hello. Say hello where you're watching from. Been a while since we've been live. Really good to already see a bunch of you in YouTube from the community. A lot of folks that we often get the chance to chat with. Good to see you guys. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I want to see how you guys are doing. It's been a while and it's been rough, right? With the Trump election, we've got, of course, news to talk about. And I'm going to answer your questions, but first I want to say a few words about that, okay? So, Trump's border czar, the guy who Trump has said is going to be sort of in charge of the border, this guy named Homan, who was involved in the last Trump administration in immigration, has said today, on Monday, November 11th, that they're definitely going to do mass deportations. And he has explained how that's going to start. Now, the bad news is that they're not bluffing. As Amira, in your comment, you say it's so over for everyone, praying that Trump is bluffing hard. It's not over for everyone, but I don't think he's bluffing. So, that's the bad news, is that they're not bluffing. Homan and Trump are serious. Stephen Miller, one of his advisors, these guys are serious. They're going to try to deport a lot of people. Okay. That's the bad news. The good news, from what Homan said today, is that they are at least going to act like they're going to respect the process. Like when they scoop someone up, when they arrest someone for no other reason than not having documentation. He said that if they ask for asylum, they are going to let that play out in the courts. He indicated that. And I got to be honest with you. Well, that's how it should be. Obviously, that's what our rules say. That's what our laws say. I was concerned, and I think I still am concerned. I'm a little bit less so with these words from Homan today, but I was concerned, significantly concerned, that they wouldn't even do that they wouldn't follow the law at all and would just deport people without giving them a chance to see an immigration judge and explain their case if they're afraid of being harmed in their country, and give them a chance to apply for asylum. So that's the good news, is that if someone gets detained, listen, this is important. If someone that gets detained, if they get arrested and put in immigration detention and the authorities are saying, hey, we're going to deport you, if that person says to the authorities, I'm afraid of being harmed in my country and I want to apply for asylum, they can't deport you right away. They're supposed to give you a process where you get to go see a judge, and you get to explain your fear of being harmed. It's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit complicated with regard to whether you're going to first have a credible fear interview or not. It depends on various factors, and it's unclear how the Trump administration is going to deal with this question of credible fear interview or not. But some people will have a credible fear interview. Some people will not, and some people will just go straight to having a chance to apply for asylum at immigration court. But the bottom line is, if you're afraid of being harmed in your country and you get detained, even if you've not yet applied for asylum, you should tell them that. You should say, I'm afraid of being harmed in my country and I want to apply for asylum. Okay. If that's the truth, I'm not encouraging anyone to lie. You should only say that if it's true. But if it's true, then you should say it. Okay. Because that's the thing that is likely to help keep people from getting deported, like right away. Okay. At least in that case, you'll have a chance to explain yourself, at least somewhat. If you're someone who's been here for a long time, they might be, they'll be past the 1-year filing deadline for filing for asylum. But even if you don't win asylum in immigration court, you can still win, including because of the 1 year filing deadline. If you're filing after 1 year, you can still win another form of relief from removal. Another thing that allows you to get to stay here if the judge believes that you're in real risk. And that's called withholding of removal, or there's another thing called protection under the Convention Against Torture. But the bottom line is, don't let the fact that you've been here for over a year keep you from applying for asylum, thinking, oh, you know what, there's that rule that says you have to apply in your first year. I'm not applying in my first year, so I'm not going to win, so I'm not even going to try. I'll just let them deport me. If you're afraid of being harmed in your country and you want to stay here, then apply for asylum, even if you've been here for more than a year, okay? Because, well, first of all, you might qualify for an exception to the 1 year filing deadline and actually win asylum. Because remember, there's two categories of exceptions: changed circumstances and extraordinary circumstances, which are a little bit complicated. But even if you can't get asylum because you don't qualify for an exception to the 1 year filing deadline, you might still be able to get withholding of removal. All right. So that's really important. But yeah, listen, guys, I mean, it's tough. The outlook is tough. Okay. They're going to deport a lot of people. They're going to round up a lot of people who are just going about their lives, living their daily lives. Many of these people will be people who have been here for many years and have families and be good employees, paying taxes. There'll be business owners. There's going to be a lot of people swept up in this that a whole lot of folks in the United States don't really think are the kind of people that we should be trying to deport, but they're going to be swept up in this. So we got to get ready for it. One of my priorities in the coming weeks and months is going to be to make sure that people understand what I told you a second ago, which is that if someone you know gets scooped up and you don't want to leave because you're afraid they'll be harmed in your country, then you have to affirmatively tell the officers, I fear being harmed in my country and I want to apply for asylum. Those are the magic words, okay? They're probably not going to ask you before putting you on a plane to deport you. They're not going to say, oh, by the way, are you afraid of being harmed? Under the Biden administration, they've done that, but I don't think Trump will do that. But once you say those words, they're supposed to give you a chance to explain yourself and possibly to apply for asylum. And the good news is that today, as of today at least, November 11th, the borders are, this guy Homan has said that, if someone gets arrested and they apply for asylum, they're going to get their chance to explain their case. So it sounds like they hopefully are going to respect the law in that sense. So that's, silver lining, right? But yeah, I'm going to be focused. I want people to know about this, to know about their rights and know about the fact that it's not over. And asylum may be a way to avoid being deported. Also, another huge, massively important thing for you to understand is that having an asylum case pending will, I believe, decrease the chances of you being detained and deported. Okay. The current administration, for many administrations in the past, the policy has been, if you've got an asylum case pending, we're not going to put you in deportation proceedings until you get an answer. If you get a negative answer on your asylum case, then yeah, they put you in deportation proceedings. But the fact that you don't have legal status, and even though the government knows that, does not mean that they're going to arrest you, and it does not necessarily mean that they're going to issue the notice to appear that says, hey, we're trying to deport you now and you have to show up in court. Rather, the policy has been, they don't do that if you have an asylum case pending with USCIS, okay? So listen, if you've been here, it doesn't matter how long you've been here. Whether it's 2 months or 2 years or 20 years, if you don't have legal status and you're afraid of being harmed in your country, then applying for asylum might make sense, even if it's past the 1 year filing deadline, because you might qualify for an exception to the 1 year filing deadline. And at least having that application pending is going to be a means to hopefully, I think probably stave off being arrested and deported, because they're probably going to let you stay here while that asylum case is pending. And again, that's what this Border Czar Homan said today, is that they're going to let the process play out for asylum seekers. Okay. Whether, if you've been living sort of in the shadows, so to speak, for a long time without status, and you don't have any good arguments about why you qualify for an exception to the 1 year filing deadline, and you haven't applied yet, you're past the 1 year filing deadline, does it make sense to apply for asylum just so that you can have the asylum application pending, even though you know you're probably not going to win your case at the asylum office because of the 1 year fine deadline? Maybe. It's something that I would want to talk through with you in a consultation to really get to know more about your case and advise on that question. Okay. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. All right. There's going to be more people that I'll say yes to under Trump in terms of, I have a questionable case. Maybe it's not a strong case. Should I still apply for asylum with USCIS? In the past, I have been likely to say no under Trump, because having that application pending will probably for at least a while be a way to avoid getting deported and put into deportation proceedings. It might make sense even for weaker cases. You should never apply for asylum. You should never apply for asylum fraudulently, which is to say, if you're not afraid of being harmed in your country, you should not apply for asylum. Okay. It's only for people that are truly afraid of being harmed in their country. All right. All right. Well, that was depressing, but it's going to be like that for 4 years, right? That we're going to be having hard conversations, and people are going to be making very hard choices, and there's going to be a lot of damage done to people, but we've got to fight. We've got to put forth the strongest case possible. All right. If you're applying for asylum, it's always been important to, present the strongest case possible, fight the best case that you can, but it's even more important now. I mean, it's incredibly important that your case be as strong as possible. It's going to be harder to win asylum, both in the immigration court and at the asylum office. Last thing, I want to get to I want to say hello to you guys that are saying hello, and I want to get to your questions. But first, what I want to do is I want to say one more thing about what an implication of Trump winning the presidency and pledging to do these mass deportations and to crack down on immigrants generally and asylum specifically. If you've had an asylum case pending for multiple years with USCIS and you're waiting for your interview, you should sue the government right now to force them to give you your interview now. This is more important than ever. Listen, if you sue today, it's November 11th. If you hired my law firm today and we filed your lawsuit within a week, you might get your interview before, in a decision even possibly, before January 20th when Trump becomes sworn in as president. With every day that goes by, it's less likely, right? Some people will. Some people that we are suing the government for right now, that we're filing a lawsuit for tomorrow, I think there'll probably be some of them that will get their interview and decision before Trump takes office. However, majority of them probably be a little bit longer, because it usually takes, on average, we've been seeing maybe like 3 months on average. But that is still better than waiting for longer. Why? It's going to take some time for Trump's policies to have a great impact at the asylum office. I do think that there will be more refusals. I think the Trump administration will ensure that fewer people get asylum from the asylum office. But that's going to take some time before that really takes effect. There will be some policy changes, like some actual practical policy changes. But there's also this just anti-immigrant sentiment, this anti-immigrant atmosphere where these people are emboldened and empowered to deny cases. And that's going to lead to more denials as well. But that takes some time as well, okay, for that to sort of grow and crescendo. My point is that the sooner that you get your interview and that you get your decision, the better. Even if Trump's already in office, believe me, you want to have your interview and your decision on January 21st rather than on, January 21st of 2026, 2027, when this stuff is really ramped up. All right. The sooner, the better. You need to take advantage of this. And if you have been waiting for multiple years for your interview and you're sick of waiting and you want to move forward with your case and you want to give yourself the best possible chance to win, then I think you should sue the government right now. In large part because of, this situation, we're doing something that we've never done before. We're offering a discount on this kind of case. The Mandamus lawsuit. That's this asylum delay lawsuit is technically called a Mandamus lawsuit, right? And we're offering a discount just these 2 months, November and December, end of year discount just on these Mandamus cases. We're not offering discounts on any other kind of cases, just cases where we're suing the government to force someone's interview forward, or their decision after you've had your interview. If you've been waiting for your decision, if you applied more than 3 years or more ago and you're waiting for your decision still, no matter when you had your interview, we think you're in a good position to have success in forcing that decision through a mandamus lawsuit. If you applied for asylum 3 years ago or more, and you have not yet had your interview, then you're in a good position to win. Except, there's one exception. Right now, we are saying you got to wait a little longer for Los Angeles. We are only accepting clients at the Los Angeles Asylum Office if they've been waiting 5 years. For all the other asylum offices everywhere else in the country, we're seeing success at 3 years wait time. So if you've been waiting 3 years anywhere other than Los Angeles, we think you're in a good position to have success with the mandamus lawsuit. If it's Los Angeles, 5 years. So listen, if you want to talk with us about this and get some details about this, and see if we think we can help you, go to winasylum.com. That's where you can schedule a free consultation with us. Right now they're free. It's winasylum.com. That's WINASYLUM.com. Winasylum.com is where you can schedule a free asylum strategy session with one of our asylum professionals. Let's go to the comments. What do we got? Amira says, Amira, I already read that one. It's over for everyone, praying that Trump is bluffing hard. I don't think he's bluffing. Hassan says, your client from Chicago. Hey, good to see you. I'm not sure who that is based on your YouTube name, but good to see you. Thanks for being here. AG, we got somebody else in Chicago. We got Tamira. Thank you for your input, she says, from Florida. Nice to have you. We got Isatu Mara says, hello, watching from Philadelphia, Philly. Mr. Lucky Charm on YouTube says, do you only focus on political asylum, or do you also do other groups of asylum seekers? Good question. So, let me answer that. So the question is this: do we only take on political asylum cases at my law firm, or do we handle other types of asylum cases? So good question. So our law firm is called Political Asylum Lawyers, but we do handle other kinds of asylum cases. So remember, there's like 5 different grounds or bases on which you can seek asylum: race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or something called membership in a particular social group. And absolutely, we help people for all 5 of those different case types. Yes, our name is Political Asylum Lawyers, but yeah, for sure, we definitely do all of them. Maybe half of them are a political type case, but we have lots of religious claims as well. We have all of them, lots of membership in a particular social group clients as well. So we can definitely help you with any of those. If you fear being harmed in your country, you should talk to us. Go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com, winasylum.com to schedule a free consultation. Do it now. Thanks for asking the question. Good question. All right. So my case is pending for an interview. So what will be the Trump administration be a negative impact? And then Amira says, Trump won't really affect the asylum process, right? Since a lot of Democratic states are vowing to Trump-proof their states. Let me answer that question. So the question is this: is a Trump presidency going to mean fewer people get asylum from the asylum office? Yeah, it is. I absolutely think it is. Listen, Trump's going to make some actual sort of concrete policy changes. Just a couple of examples. They're probably going to change the interpretation of what it means to qualify for asylum based on membership in a particular social group, such that things like violence against women and certain domestic violence type cases won't qualify anymore. Also, perhaps family-based cases where you're being persecuted because you're a member of like a certain family or because of your relationship to a family member, which actually make up a lot of asylum cases out there. So that's one example. But also, just the general anti-immigrant atmosphere that's going to be pervasive at the asylum office will mean, in my opinion, that yes, denial rates are about to go up significantly. Get ready. All right. We got to do better. We got to present the best case possible at the asylum office. Okay. And, as I said earlier, it takes time for some of that to develop, right? For some of these policy changes to come into effect and for that anti-immigrant atmosphere and mindset to just really take hold, such that if you've been waiting for multiple years for an asylum interview, it's in your interest to try to get it scheduled now as fast as possible and get your decision as fast as possible. And you can do that through an asylum delay lawsuit. It's called a Mandamus lawsuit. We absolutely love those in my office. We've been doing it a ton recently. We filed over 100 of them in the last, year and a half or so. And we haven't lost one yet. Listen, past performance does not guarantee any kind of future results, but I am really proud to tell you that we haven't lost one of these yet. These things work. All right. They are a powerful, powerful tool to get what you want and to give yourself the best chance of winning your case. Because in general, even before Trump, I still have always believed that the sooner that you get your asylum interview and the sooner that you get your decision, the better for your chances for success. There's multiple reasons for that. But listen, with the Trump factor now, that it's probably just going to get worse and worse as the days go by once Trump's in office. Yeah, absolutely, positively, now is the time to act. And, listen, we're offering a discount in November and December only of 2024 on these cases of $500. Okay. It's $500 off only in November and December. If you come back and hire us, and even if you have your consultation with us tomorrow and then you call us in January, like, hey, Brian, can we do this discount? I'm going to say no, unfortunately. It's like we want to take action now. We think it's important that people push this forward as soon as possible. And we're incentivizing that through this discount. I want people to act now. And so we're going to be hard line on this. This discount ends at 11:59 p.m. on December 31st. After that, the discount's gone. Go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com to take advantage of that, to schedule a consultation with us. That's how you get started. Amira says mass deportation would crash the U.S. economy. Yeah, it's going to have a negative effect on the economy for sure. If they do as big of mass deportations as they're promising. Laura says, good teacher. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Welcome Love on YouTube says, are asylees getting deported too? Good question. So the question is this: are Trump's mass deportations going to include asylees, or in other words, people who actually have asylum, who won their asylum case? I don't think so. Maybe I'm being naive, wishful thinking, but I don't think so. I don't think they're going to go that far and try to deport people that have asylum. All right. Well, listen. I mean, if you commit certain crimes, you can lose your asylee status, right? There's actually other things that can make you lose it as well, in addition to actual crimes. But if that stuff doesn't apply in your case, then I think you're okay. I don't think you need to worry as an asylee. But listen, the sooner that you can become a permanent resident, the better. And then the sooner that you get your U.S. citizenship, the better. U.S. citizenship is the safest, most stable form of status. Your goal should be to get there as quickly as possible. So if you've already got asylum and you haven't yet applied for a green card, apply for a green card. All right? That's my advice. Thanks for the question. All righty. Nojim says, what's going to happen to I-730 filing? What do you mean? What do you mean, Nojim? I don't know. I don't think I've heard anyone from the Trump administration talk about this issue. I don't think anything will happen with the I-730 process. I can't be sure of that, but I'm pretty hopeful that it will not really be affected. All right. No, James says, I'm an asylee. Can you help me to file for my green card? Thanks for the question. So the question is, in my office, do we help people apply for a green card that was gained thanks to their asylum status? And the answer is absolutely. Listen, all we do is asylum, except we help people sue the government in asylum delay lawsuits to get their interview scheduled or to get their decision after their interview's taken place. And we do adjustment of status or green card cases, but only for asylees. We don't do marriage-based immigration. We don't do business-based immigration. We don't do citizenship cases, naturalization. All we do is asylum and mandamus lawsuits and green card cases for asylees. If you've got your if you've got asylum and you want to apply for a green card, yes, we can help you with that, which is a little bit tricky. It's different. It's in my opinion, it's more fraught than a lot of other green card type cases because they often go back and explore your underlying asylum case and sometimes try to take away your asylum status. So you got to be careful with this. And yeah, we can help you with that. Thanks for asking. If you want to talk with us about that, go to winasylum.com, 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 and that's where you can schedule a consultation, what we call an asylum strategy session, where we're going to talk with you about your case. In your case, Najim, about your a little bit about your underlying asylum case, but we're going to explain the green card process to you. But for asylum seekers, we're going to go deep on your situation. We're going to really get to understand you and your immigration goals, your priorities, and we're going to go deep in understanding your case. And then we're going to tell you whether we think we're in a position to help you. And if so, we're going to tell you how. We're going to explain exactly what we would do to give you the best possible chance to win your asylum case so you can secure your future in America through asylum. All right? You can do that at winasylum.com, winasylum.com. What's the approval rate in South? Kevin Hemming says, what's the approval rate in South Carolina for both immigration courts and the asylum offices? Pretty sure the South Carolina, I'm pretty sure you go to Arlington, the Arlington Asylum Office. Yeah, I'm pretty confident about that. So yeah, let me address it like this. The question is, what's the approval rate for asylum seekers in the state of South Carolina? So listen, immigration courts are tough. They're, I don't know exactly the percentage off the top of my head, but they're pretty low. They're among the lower immigration asylum approval rates among immigration courts in the country. So basically in the South, the approval rates tend to be low. Okay. So not a great place to be an asylum seeker if you're an immigration court in South Carolina. The asylum office, though, affirmative asylum cases, so people seeking asylum who have their case with USCIS at an asylum office, that's actually much better because you're under the jurisdiction of the Arlington Asylum Office in Arlington, Virginia, and that one's pretty good. It's not the best. It's not like the highest approval rate among asylum offices, but it's up there. It's usually like the third or fourth highest approval rate. So yeah, it's a pretty good place to be. So that's good. All right. Thanks for the question. Sumare says, Bubu says, hey, I'm from Mauritania. Can you help me win asylum? A final interview. I'm looking for a lawyer. Maybe. I want to talk with you. I want to see what's going on and tell you what we think after I hear about your situation. We've helped people from, from Mauritania before. I am familiar with some of the conditions there and the cases that come from there. So before I became an asylum lawyer, I was an asylum officer with the government. And before that, I was a diplomat. And in my capacity as a diplomat, I was learning about and working on issues from, stuff all over the world. And so I am actually fairly familiar with like the Sahel and some of the issues coming from countries like Mauritania. So listen, I want to talk with you. I want at least someone from my team to talk with you. So go to Sumare, go to winasylum.com, winasylum.com. And that's where you can schedule a consultation. By the way, these consultations right now are free. We used to charge, it was like almost $200, but we are offering them for free right now. I don't know if that's going to last. To be honest with you, with Trump, we might have so much demand. There's a lot of people that need our help right now. We're getting a lot of demand. These spots are filling up quickly. And we might get to the point soon where we got to start charging. Because it's just the demand is it's probably going to be pretty overwhelming. But right now, at this moment that I'm making this live, that we're having this conversation, November 11th, 2024, we're offering free consultations. So take advantage of that. Go to winasylum.com, and that's where you can schedule your free asylum strategy session with us, with one of our asylum professionals. All right? Tamira says, should the application be presented ASAP or just days before President Trump gets to office? So the question is this. Should you go ahead and apply for asylum right now, or maybe wait until like right before Trump comes into office, or maybe wait until right after Trump comes into office. So listen, the sooner you apply for asylum, the better. There's multiple reasons for that. Let me discuss a couple. One of them has nothing to do with Trump. If you want to work legally in the United States and you don't have that permission right now, you can get that through your asylum application, right? 150 days after applying for asylum, you're eligible to apply for your work permit based on your pending asylum case. So the sooner you apply for asylum, the sooner you get your work permit. But let's go back to Trump. It's going to take time for his anti-immigrant ethos, for this anti-immigrant environment that's going to come with him. It's going to take some time for that to take hold. It's going to take some time to put in place some of the policies that are going to lead to more denials. You want to have your interview before those things happen. So yeah, apply now. Don't wait. You should apply as soon as possible. If you're afraid of being harmed in your country and you're thinking about applying for asylum and you decide to do it now. Don't wait. Okay? That's what I think. All right, who we got? Let's see what else we got. Nice. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining. Tim. Leslie says, what about people who were detained by ICE and had their credible fear interview and were later released to continue their case? Are they at much risk? Good question. So the question is this. Are people at risk of being snatched up, detained, and deported under the Trump administration after they already had a credible fear interview and then were released from detention? And now let's say, you're just waiting for your court process to go through. You're not detained and you've got your asylum case pending and you're waiting. Are you at risk? Are they going to come get you? I don't think so. Listen, it's early. We don't know what Trump's going to do exactly. However, his border czar has indicated that they're going to let the asylum process play out for people that are afraid of being harmed in their country and want to apply for asylum. They've said they're going to let that play out. I hope that's true. I think it's probably true. So I think it's unlikely they're going to come and detain you while your court case is pending. If you've already gotten a positive credible fear determination, especially, they're not going to have much bed space and you're probably not going to be a priority. So I don't think you're going to be at risk. That's good news. All right. I think you're going to be okay. You never know, but I think I'm pretty confident that you don't have to worry about them coming to get you and detaining you and deporting you, or even just like detaining you until, and having your asylum proceedings be while you're detained. I don't think that's going to happen. Afrian asks about the impact of speeding tickets on their asylum interview. Here's the question. Will having a few speeding tickets on your record negatively affect your chances for winning asylum in the United States? I don't think so. Probably not. Listen, what's crucial here is that you're open and honest about it. There's a question on the asylum application form that basically asks, have you ever had any problems at all with the law? Now, I know some people who will interpret this, some lawyers included, who will interpret this to be like, oh no, you don't need to list speeding tickets. I think you should. I think that you should list them because if it comes up, if they find out about it, whether they ask you directly something that makes you say yes at the interview, or if they just find out about it through other resources, it can make you look bad. It can make you look like you're trying to lie, and that can make you lose your case. It's better. Honesty is the best policy. You want to be open, honest, and transparent, but will it actually hurt you? No, I don't think the fact that you've gotten a few speeding tickets will keep you from winning asylum or even really be a negative factor. It's all right. All right? All right. That's good news for you, right? I don't think you should worry about that. I don't think you need to worry about it, okay? Guillaume Sabapu, I'm not sure I pronounced that, but says, I need your help to file I-130 for my mom. So that's actually not something that we do. We just do asylum. We only do asylum plus, we do Mandamus lawsuits, asylum delay lawsuits, and then we do green cards, but only for people that got their that have asylum and are applying for a green card based on their asylee status. We don't do family-based immigration, okay? But listen, if you want to email me, I'll recommend someone that I trust, because listen, there's a lot of bad lawyers out there, a lot of shady lawyers, incompetent lawyers. You got to be really careful. But if you want to email me, I'll recommend someone that I trust. Okay. You can email me at info@politicalasyluምላwyers.com. info@politicalasyluምላwyers.com. All right. Do we think we'll get the interviews at the USCIS office faster with Trump? Good question. So the question is this: what's likely to happen to processing times for interview times, the wait time to get your interview at the asylum office under Donald Trump? So listen, a lot of people don't know this, but many people have actually been getting their interviews super quickly lately. It's all for several years. It's been USCIS's policy to try to do interviews as quickly as possible. In the past, they couldn't do that because there were so many people coming to the border, and that meant that asylum officers had to do credible fear interviews by telephone, taking them away from normal affirmative asylum interviews and creating a backlog. But those numbers of border arrivals have gone down due to Biden administration policies to basically try to stop people from coming. Trump will continue those and increase them to where probably fewer people will be coming to the border. That means asylum interviews should be happening fast. I think that Trump wants them to happen fast because, then you can deny people and put them in deportation proceedings quicker is probably his way of thinking about it. So I think they'll keep coming fast. That's what I think. I think there's a very good chance that people applying now for asylum or in a few months under the Trump administration, I think there's a very good chance that you'll get your interview very quickly within 1 to 3 months of applying for most people. It won't happen for everyone, but for most people, I think it will happen. I'm fairly confident about that. No, I can't be 100% certain, but I'm pretty confident that that's going to happen. Okay. Hernan Dario Escobar says on YouTube, I don't know if you speak Spanish, Hernan, but we have a Spanish language YouTube channel, if that helps. Asilo Aprobado is the name. Asilo Aprobado on YouTube. How much is the lawsuit? So good question. The question is, how much do we charge to sue the government to force them to give you your asylum interview? We're talking about an asylum delay lawsuit, also known as a Mandamus lawsuit. What do we charge for that? So listen, if you just want us to sue the government and you don't want us to represent you in your underlying asylum case, you're like, Brian, just give me the interview. That's all I want. Then right now, so we normally charge $6,500 for the lawsuit. Right now, in November and December, we're offering a discount of $500, and there's a payment plan to make an initial payment plus monthly payments. And that $500 is taken off of the initial payment. All right. So the total in November and December, if you hire us in November or December for the lawsuit, $6,000. Now, if you want our help with the rest of the case to actually help you win your case, it's a lot more work, and it's going to be $9,900 minus the $500 discount is $9,400, but only in November and December. Okay. That's where our fees are at right now. They're going up in January. They're going up a lot, actually, quite a lot in January. In addition to the discount going away, they're actually most of our case type, the fees are going up for most of them. All right. So listen, now is the time to act. Now's the time to act. All right. If you want to do that, if you want to explore your situation, you want us to consider your situation and tell you whether we think it's a good idea, whether we think we're in a position to help you, then you can just go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com, and that's where you can get more information, or you can schedule a consultation so that we can work with you to see whether we think we can help you. Okay. Manja says, is applying for asylum on a tourist visa, is it legal way to get immigration or not? Let's approach it like this. The question is basically this: can you apply for asylum if you came here on a tourist visa? And if so, does that give you legal status? So here's how it works. Yes, you can, for sure. You can apply for asylum no matter what kind of visa you came on, and it doesn't even matter if you didn't come on a visa. Even if you came to the border without a visa, you can still apply for asylum if you're here, okay? Now, if you came on a tourist visa and you applied before your tourist status ended, then you don't get what is called unlawful presence. Unlawful presence basically means they count up the days that you're in the United States in which you don't have legal status. And if you apply for asylum while you still have legal status, then you don't get unlawful presence while your case is pending, as long as your asylum case remains pending. And that's good for the future. It doesn't help you win your asylum case, but it can be good for future immigration processes. Having an asylum case pending technically doesn't count as legal status, but it protects you from accruing unlawful presence. Hope that helps. All right. But yeah, you can definitely apply after coming on a tourist visa. All right. All right. Tebby says, what if you've been waiting for the asylum interview for 2 years? Good question. So here's the question. What if you've been waiting for your asylum interview for, let's say, 2 years? What can you do? If you want to move your case forward, can you sue the government at that time? Listen, right now, I would say that we wouldn't take that case. Right now, we're only helping people sue the government to force their asylum interview if they've been waiting 3 years, okay? Actually, 3 years everywhere except the Los Angeles Asylum Office. If your case is with the Los Angeles Asylum Office, it's, for us right now, it's 5 years waiting. But here's what you can do. If you haven't reached that 3 years or 5 years mark yet, then, and you want to make some progress on your case and hire a lawyer to have your back and to support you and to help you, give you a better chance of winning your case, you can hire us to do what we call an asylum roadmap. It's a filing where we're going to submit to the court where we're explaining your case on paper, where we're showing how you should win asylum so that when you go to your interview, eventually the officer already understands your case and already sees that you should get asylum. That's what you can do now. Okay. So, here's related. The question is this: what is this asylum roadmap that I'm always talking about? This is one of the elements of the case that we do for people where we're going to help you win your case on paper. We're going to submit to the asylum office a packet that consists of 3 elements. 1, a declaration from you where you're explaining your case in a powerful way to show the officer everything they need to see to understand how you meet the requirements for asylum. The second element of the asylum roadmap is evidence. We're going to work with you to create a list of recommended evidence, things that we think that you should try to get in support of your case. And we're going to decide which ones to use. And then the third element is a legal brief, where my office writes a legal brief where we connect the dots and we do a legal analysis to show how you meet each of the requirements for asylum. Now, this is a powerful packet. It shows the officer how to get to yes in your case in the easiest way possible. We want to convince them of that before you ever set foot in the asylum office. And this is a huge part of that. Okay. It's powerful stuff, I think, honestly. All right. Mr. Mdongo says, I am late. I am starting from scratch. What do you mean? Starting what from scratch? Kiedis Yidbarek says, keep doing what you're doing. Nobody helps like you do. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate those kind words. My pleasure to help folks. Listen, by the way, for those of you watching on TikTok and YouTube and LinkedIn, if you want my best stuff, go to YouTube. YouTube is where I have all my best stuff. If you go to YouTube, search Political Asylum Lawyers. That's the name of my channel. It's called Political Asylum Lawyers. That's our law firm's name as well. And then you can click on the tab for playlist. Okay. Playlist. That's where I've got like super detailed tutorials, like full length trainings where I really go deep into detail about lots of different topics, lots of things that you need to know about if you want to give yourself the best possible chance to win your asylum case. So go to YouTube and search for Political Asylum Lawyers, and then check out our playlist to find lots of tutorials that I think can really help you. Okay. All right. Hello from Boston, says Caesar. Hey, Caesar, thanks for being here. Let me know if you have any questions. All right. Let me know your questions in the comments, guys. Hi, Pastor Jean-Jacques Judy. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. He asks, out in El Paso, right, Pastor? If I'm not mistaken. He says it could be the situation when immigration lawyers may not be sufficient to help newcomers fight the immigration legal battle. What can good citizens do to become representatives in the courtroom? So, actually, Pastor, there is a there is a process for this where you can become what is called an accredited representative, where it's kind of like being a lawyer, where like the immigration courts will recognize you as effectively the person's representative. To do that, to be acknowledged as a representative, like someone who can speak on behalf of a client and file things on their behalf, you either have to be a registered attorney and registered with the immigration courts as an attorney, or you have to be what's called an accredited representative. I'm not super sure about the process, like how cumbersome it is to do it, to become one. But listen, why don't you try to Google EOIR? That's the name of the immigration courts formally. It's Executive Office for Immigration Review. You can Google EOIR accredited representative, and you should be able to find the government's info about how to become an accredited representative. Now, that's kind of a fairly big process, right? So apart from that, what else can people do to help people in immigration court? You can listen. I think one of the main things you can do, Pastor, is send people to my YouTube channel and to my playlist. Pastor, I will send you on Facebook. I will send you a link to some training videos that I think will be really helpful for people that you're engaging with in your community. Like one video that a lot of people tell me has been really helpful for them, especially people coming to the border, Pastor, is a training that I did about the credible fear interview. That's a really important step that usually comes very early in the process, like right when people come to the border. So that video, that training, I think will be very helpful for a lot of people in your community, Pastor. I'll send you a link to that on Facebook. Okay. I'd like to come, Pastor. I'd be happy to come out to El Paso and meet with you and talk with your community sometime and give just some tips and learn more also about the need out there and get to know those folks. I think I'd like to do that if you would receive me and hang out with me sometime. I would like that. I think that'd be great. Cesar says, I'm waiting for my interview to be scheduled a year from now in Massachusetts. Is that normal? Listen, so here's the question. The question is this: is it normal to have your interview scheduled like a year out in advance? So, you receive the interview notice that says, hey, your interview has been scheduled for X date, and X date is like a year in the future. Is that normal? Well, listen, it's not normal in the context of, it's not normal outside of the Mandamus context. So if you just apply and you just get your interview naturally without suing the government, it's not normal. Usually when you apply and you just get it without suing, usually you get like 8 or 10 days from the time that you receive the notice to the date of the interview. But when you sue the government in a Mandamus lawsuit, usually you get more advanced notice. Usually it's not that long. Usually it's like a couple months or a few months. We've seen some cases that we've had some clients that it's been like 8 or 9 months, like in San Francisco and LA. It seems like it's been a longer time. Also in New York, it's been quite a while. So that's kind of normal for Mandamus lawsuits in those places. In Texas, where I am, it's been very fast. It's usually been like a month or two after we sue. We get the interview notice, and then like the date is within a month of the interview notice, like his actual interview date. It's very quick. In most places, other than the few that I mentioned, it's quite quick. But I'm not surprised if what you're seeing is the result of a Mandamus lawsuit. But listen, it's better than nothing. It's better than had you not sued, okay? If you hadn't sued the government, you'd probably be waiting multiple years. But by suing, you got your interview scheduled. Yes, it's annoying. It's frustrating that it's like a year out. That's annoying. But it's better than the alternative. It's better than not having sued and having to wait for multiple years, okay? Yeah. Yep. Okay. Very good. Is it possible to get asylum for, oh, you said it was in Massachusetts. Sorry, Cesar. Boston Asylum Office. I've seen a few that are several months. I haven't seen that far out in advance. So that's a little bit surprising, but overall, if it's a result of a Mandamus lawsuit, it's not super surprising. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong or bad. Okay, for sure. It doesn't have any. It doesn't mean there's like a problem with your case. They think your case is bad. It's definitely not that. Okay. Is it possible for people from Myanmar to get asylum? Absolutely. Yeah, we've helped quite a few clients from Myanmar to win asylum in the United States. I handled these cases back when I was an asylum officer with the government, and now as an asylum lawyer at my law firm, we're handling these cases with success. In fact, I'm pretty sure we've won every single one of them. I can't think of any of those that we've not won. I think we have. I think we've won every single one of them, which is no guarantee of future success, right? It doesn't mean we're going to always win them or win yours, but I'm pretty sure we've won all of them so far. We understand those cases well, and we've had success with them. So if you are thinking about applying, we should talk. Go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com. All right. All right. If Heba says, if Trump cancels TPS for certain countries, can he cancel it before its expiration date? Yes. So the question is this. Trump has been talking about canceling temporary protected status programs, TPS. Is it possible that you could lose your TPS status even before its expiration date? Like if he cancels it for your country and says, oh, we're not going to renew it, could he actually take it away from you, what you've already got, like before it expires? And the answer is, yeah, I think he could. There's some legal question about this. Like groups might sue to stop it, saying that it's not legal to do that. But I think that they would probably fail. I think he probably can do this legally. Will he do this? I don't know. I think he will definitely not renew TPS designations and not renew TPS like approvals and stop doing new ones. But will he also literally take away the TPS that you already have short of its expiration date? I think that, yeah, I think he can. I think there's a chance. I don't know whether he will or not. There's a chance. So listen, if you have, I know a lot of people have TPS and they're like, oh, I guess I don't need to apply for asylum. I'm okay. I've got my TPS. Well, I've always thought that you should also apply for asylum if you're afraid of being harmed in your country, even though you have TPS. But now it's even more pressing because Trump has said he's going to end TPS. Okay. So you'll be left without status. You'll be left without a basis on which to renew your work permit. You'll be left without a route to long-term status here. If you're afraid of being harmed in your country, then you should apply for asylum. All right. Almost certainly. I mean, talk with an asylum lawyer, right? And so they can actually analyze your specific case, because sometimes I will learn things and say, actually, no, I think you should not apply. But, you definitely, let me rephrase, you should definitely talk with an asylum lawyer, okay, if you're afraid of being harmed in your country. All right. It looks like we've got an Ethiopia. I can't read that script, but I know I'm pretty sure you're from Ethiopia. Maybe you've already talked about it. Is it a good idea to go Mandamus at this juncture since DJT is ascending the throne in a little bit? Yes. Yeah, the sooner the better. If you file, tomorrow, you might actually get your interview and a decision before he takes office. Probably not. Most people that do Mandamus right now are probably going to get a little bit after. Maybe a few months after he takes office, but even still, the sooner the better. The more time that goes by, the more time there is for him to pass new anti-immigrant policies that hurt asylum, and the more this anti-immigrant just sort of sentiment and atmosphere will take hold in the asylum office and make it harder to win. Okay. Yeah, Serge, I talked about TPS. Uyghur family and we entered the U.S. legally. Do you think our asylum case will affect because of new government policy? Well, listen, I think it's going to be harder for pretty much everyone to win asylum under Donald Trump, but not impossible. People are going to win asylum. People won asylum last time under him, and even with tougher policies this time, people are going to win asylum this time. All right. So yeah. Can a case be transferred? Sure. If you move, when Good question. Let's do it like this. So here's the question. Can you transfer your asylum case from one place to another? In the affirmative context, for cases that are pending with USCIS, if you move from the jurisdiction of one asylum office into the jurisdiction of another, when you notify USCIS of that move, your case is automatically transferred. You don't have a choice. You can't say, oh, I think I wanted to stay with the old one, or I want to go to this other one. No, it goes by where you live, and it's automatic once you inform them of your move. In the immigration courts, it's a little bit different. In the immigration courts, your case just stays where it is, even after you move and even after you inform the court. It stays where it is, unless you ask the judge to transfer it to a court near where you live now. And usually when you do that, they say yes, unless you do it like shortly before your main hearing, your principal hearing, your individual hearing. If you do it right before that, like a few weeks or maybe a month or two before that, they might say no. They might think you're trying to stall. Otherwise, they'll almost certainly say yes. But you should be strategic about it. You shouldn't necessarily always ask to transfer just because you moved. You need to look at the approval rates and talk with an asylum lawyer first. Okay? All right. So Manar says, how long should you wait to sue to get a decision? Like if you've already had your interview, how long should you wait to sue before getting the decision? So here's the question. Let's say you've already had your asylum interview and you've been waiting for a long time for your decision. When can you sue? When should you start considering bringing an asylum delay lawsuit, a so-called Mandamus lawsuit, to force the government to give you that decision? Well, listen, it doesn't matter how long you've waited from the interview until today. That time frame between those two things doesn't matter. What matters is the time between when you applied for asylum, so your application date, and now. If that date is 3 years or more, then you're in a pretty good position to force them to give you your interview by suing them. Now listen, wait a couple of weeks at least. Don't sue them the day after your interview. But if you've waited like months and they haven't given it to you after your interview, yeah, you're in a good position to sue the government to force them to give you your interview. If it's a Los Angeles asylum office right now, we're saying 5-year wait, but all the other asylum offices, 3-year wait. That's both to force your interview or to force your decision after your interview. If you want to learn more about that, we'll be happy to talk through with you in detail what happens, what we're going to do as part of this process, what it means for you, all of this stuff. We're going to talk through in detail if you want to do a consultation with us. Go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com, winasylum.com to schedule an asylum strategy session where we're going to get to know you, we're going to talk with you, analyze your situation, tell you whether we think we can help you, and if so, we're going to tell you how exactly we will do exactly that. All right? All right, that is it for today. Thanks so much for being here on the Asylum Answers Show. I'm Brian Manning, and my law firm is based in Texas, but listen, it doesn't really matter because we help people all over the country, coast to coast. Listen, we got lots of clients in California, lots up in New York, lots down in Florida, lots around like Chicago, Atlanta, everywhere in between, really, okay? We help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live, all right? If you want to talk with us, go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com. That's where you can schedule an asylum strategy session. Do that today. There's high demand, okay, because of the Trump factor. There's high demand. So those spots are getting filled up. Go right now. Don't wait. Go right now. Literally right now. Go to winasylum.com and schedule your consultation so that we can talk and see what's going on and tell you whether we think we can help you to secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and until next time, it's a pleasure. I love being here and chatting with this community. And as always, it's truly an honor to serve you in your asylum journey. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. And oops.